Jessica is scared and runs as if something terrifying is chasing her. She rushes to the living room and finds a pair of pliers with a tooth pulled out. Suddenly, her father appears, and she screams before running away as he transforms into a spider and pursues her. The surroundings then change to a dark place with all the doors locked. She manages to open one door only to discover herself sleeping on the bed. As she tries to wake herself up, the spider finds her and attacks before Jessica wakes up from her nightmare. Her husband Max comforts her and suggests they move into her father's old house right away instead of waiting for everything to get fixed. Sometime later, the family moves into the house. Jessica is an award-winning author of children's books. Max has 2 daughters from his previous marriage. Alice has taken well to Jessica, but Taylor still gives her attitude. Later, Jessica is working when Alice comes to her asking to play hide and seek. Alice covers her eyes and starts counting, while Jessica tries to find a hiding spot. However, Jessica receives a work call, so she steps outside to take it. When Alice comes looking for her, she hears a voice and follows it into the basement, where she discovers a door with a teddy bear inside. She learns his name is Chauncey and pulls the string on his back, which plays tunes. Alice then takes Chauncey with her. Jessica returns after her phone call and finds Alice to apologize, asking if she still wants to continue playing, but Alice says she already has someone else to play with. Meanwhile, Taylor takes a selfie and sees a strange old woman staring at her from her window, but when she looks outside, there is no one there. She rushes outside to check, only to meet a boy from next door named Liam, who invites her to hang out at a bar that doesn't check IDs. Jessica steps in and brings her back inside, which embarrasses Taylor and makes her storm up to her room. That night, Jessica and Max hear Alice talking to someone through the ventilation ducts. They find it cute that Alice has an imaginary friend. Max mentions that every child has an imaginary friend, as he had one too, but Jessica believes she never had one. Alice comes to their room and tells them she's playing hide and seek with Chauncey. They go along with it and let her hide between them on the bed. They turn off the lights and pull the covers over themselves. Jessica hears a noise and comes out from under the covers to check. She glimpses something at the foot of the bed that quickly disappears. Finding this odd, she goes to take a closer look, but finds nothing. As she checks under the bed, Alice gives her a jump scare. They all laugh, unaware that Chauncey is hiding under the bed. The next day, Alice approaches Jessica and tells her that she is playing a scavenger hunt with Chauncey. She needs something happy, so Jessica finds a ball and draws a smiley face on it for her. That night, while Jessica is working, she is startled by a noise. She follows the sound to the basement, where she finds her childhood artwork with a drawing of a door and the words, "Never, ever." She goes upstairs to find Alice having a tea party with her imaginary friend, but she hears a woman's voice and catches a glimpse of someone there. Alice tells her that she is right behind her. As Jessica turns around, a woman tackles her, revealing that she is the girl's mother who is mentally ill. The police arrive and take her away. Jessica then checks on Alice, but she says she is not scared as Chauncey keeps her safe, and that Jessica would understand since she had a friend like him when she was a kid. Afterward, the couple hears Alice talking to Chauncey again, but this time they hear a different voice and assume it is Alice doing it. In Alice's room, Chauncey says he will never, ever leave Alice. The next day, Alice finds Jessica and requests a paintbrush to check off an item on her scavenger hunt list. Later on, Max leaves for personal business, leaving Jessica to watch over the girls. The old woman Taylor saw before approaches Jessica and introduces herself as Gloria. She reveals that she was Jessica's babysitter when Jessica lived in the house before her mother passed away. She also mentions that Jessica used to have an imaginary friend when she was a kid. Afterward, Jessica asks Taylor to watch over Alice and heads to the nursing home to see her father, Ben. She shows him his old camcorder filled with happy memories from their past, but Ben doesn't recognize her. When Jessica mentions their old house, he regains some senses and recognizes her. He talks about looking into their eyes to tell them where she went and insists she had disappeared, but Jessica says that she only lived with her grandmother. Suddenly, he becomes hysterical and grabs Jessica's wrist, asking her to stop talking to CB. Nurses rush in to calm him down, prompting Jessica to leave. Meanwhile, Taylor finds Alice collecting bugs in a jar for her scavenger hunt. Alice mentions that Chauncey will take her on a trip when she finishes her list. Taylor then invites Liam over, and as they watch a movie, Liam offers her drugs, which she refuses. He notices Max's liquor collection and decides to help himself to a drink before Taylor can stop him, but he accidentally breaks a bottle. Liam goes upstairs to get towels and hears music coming from Alice's room, where he finds a music box playing. He turns it off and hears a voice warning him not to touch it. While using the bathroom, he notices a string on the floor leading to a teddy bear hidden under a towel, which disappears the next moment. Liam thinks he is tripping from drugs. As he enters the hallway, the lights start to flicker off one by one, and he hears that voice again. He assumes Alice is messing with him, unaware of the entity behind him. He then sees the string again and tries to grab it but fails every time. When he finally manages to step on it, the teddy bear under a blanket starts to move toward him and suddenly morphs into a monstrous bear, scaring Liam and causing him to sit on the floor. Taylor finds him as Jessica returns. Jessica informs Liam's mom about his behavior before scolding Taylor. Jessica goes to her workspace and discovers that the head has been cut out of one of her drawings, which she knows Alice did. She enters Alice's room where she finds the scavenger hunt list and takes a picture of it. She notices that Alice is not sleeping and tries to talk to her about how she is acting out over her mom, which Jessica can relate to after what happened to her dad. Just then, she hears a voice from outside and sees Alice in the backyard. It's then she realizes that it's Chauncey under the covers. Jessica then checks the scavenger hunt list. As an entity looks at her, she discovers that the last item to be checked off is something that hurts. In the backyard, Alice finds a wooden plank with a nail in it, which she sees as a flower, and she attempts to hit her hand on it. Fortunately, Jessica moves the board away in time, and the nail only scratches Alice's arm. The next day, Jessica calls for a psychologist, Dr. Soto, to talk with Alice. Alice brings Chauncey into the room and places him on the sofa. Dr. Soto records the session and encourages Alice to directly speak to Chauncey about her true feelings regarding the incident. As they speak, two voices are heard, and Dr. Soto believes it's Alice doing it. Chauncey starts to get more aggressive, saying mean things about Jessica and even threatens Dr. Soto. Alice turns around, and Dr. Soto is shocked to see that her mouth is not moving as Chauncey is talking. Alice gets upset and runs away. Dr. Soto requests a private conversation with Jessica and shows her footage of a similar case. A boy who cut off his thumb after his imaginary friend instructed him to do so, and he also mentioned the phrase, "never ever," just like Alice does. Dr. Soto reveals that the boy disappeared a week after the session. Suddenly recalling something, Jessica rushes to the basement to find her childhood drawing with the same words and believes that destroying the teddy bear will solve the problem. However, Dr. Soto says she has never seen any bear and shows her the tape. Jessica is horrified to discover that there really is no teddy bear physically present. Jessica then asks Taylor, but she hasn't seen it either. She realizes that only she and Alice can see Chauncey. Meanwhile, the door to Alice's room opens by itself. Alice wakes up and follows the voice to find Chauncey, who asks her to finish the scavenger hunt game. Alice goes to the basement and draws a door on the wall, then gathers the items on her checklist. Chauncey tells her to burn them, using matches. After Dr. Soto leaves, Jessica flips through her artwork and finds teddy bears on every page. They rush to Alice's room, only to find it empty. They check other rooms and then head to the basement, but Alice has already disappeared. They search the streets but still can't find her. Taylor blames Jessica for Alice's disappearance and leaves to search on her own. She runs into Gloria, who invites her to her house and explains that Chauncey was Jessica's childhood imaginary friend, who became a vengeful spirit after Jessica left him, preying on children's imaginative powers. After Gloria saw Jessica open a door, she became obsessed with such spirits. Gloria worries that Chauncey might have already taken her to a secret place. Meanwhile, Jessica moves all the furniture in the room and starts drawing over the faded scribbles she made in her room as a child. Taylor and Gloria return, and Jessica tells them she remembered her childhood memories. She explains that Chauncey wanted to keep her for himself forever by bringing her to his realm called Never Ever. However, Jessica managed to escape, and he took Alice because Jessica abandoned him. They conclude that they need to play the scavenger hunt to open the door to Never Ever. Jessica collects all the necessary items but needs one last thing, something that hurts. She stabs her hand with scissors and places everything in a bowl to burn. A strong wind blows, but nothing happens. Jessica then accuses Taylor of being responsible for Alice's disappearance, causing Taylor distress. Just then, the bowl ignites with blue flames. It turns out that saying these words hurts Jessica even more, and this real pain is finally enough to open the door. The three of them enter the Never Ever, a world created by the wild imaginations of children. As they see the door beginning to close, they quickly use scissors to keep it from shutting. Jessica hears her father's voice and follows it, finding a window that shows the night of her childhood incident. Jessica had managed to escape the Never Ever, and as Ben was about to exit, Chauncey tried to pull him back. Ben looked into Chauncey's eyes, which made him delirious, but he eventually broke free and closed the door with black paint. Jessica realizes her father sacrificed himself to save her. Gloria removes the scissors and closes the door. She reveals that the entity has been telling her to bring them to the never-ever, promising her a place without pain. As she talks about all the possibilities of this world, a door suddenly opens, and Chauncey in his monstrous bear form pulls her inside and kills her. Jessica picks up the scissors, and they continue searching for Alice. Taylor sees a child running and follows to a room where the door locks behind her. Jessica opens the door, only to find it leads somewhere else. Inside, Taylor sees a child facing the corner and thinks it's Alice, but it turns out to be a ghost kid. The kid tells her Chauncey is coming before turning on the music box. When Taylor turns it off in panic, a monstrous Chauncey appears, terrifying her. She turns on the music box again as the ghost kid reappears and approaches her. Just then, Jessica cuts through the poster and saves her. After some time, Jessica and Taylor discover a room identical to their old apartment, where they find Alice surrounded by presents. Alice refuses to leave, insisting she has everything she wants, including her mother. Jessica convinces her that it's not real and starts using blue objects to create a new door for them to escape. The girl's mom tries to stop them and attacks them, but Taylor pushes her away. Chauncey then emerges from the pile of gifts and roars at them. Jessica urges the girls to leave first, but as they pass through, the door shuts. When Jessica tries to leave, she finds she can't move her legs and starts sinking. She manages to grab the scissors and stabs Chauncey before falling down. She then finds the door and tries to pry it open with the scissors as Chauncey approaches. Taylor opens the door, and Jessica escapes just in time. Afterward, Jessica brings Max and the girls to visit Ben. Taylor apologizes for her behavior, and when Alice calls Jessica Mom, Jessica feels something is off and checks her arm, only to find no scar. Jessica realizes she is still trapped in Never Ever. The entities approach Jessica and reveal that Alice was just bait since Jessica was their real target and she will never leave. At that moment, Taylor shows up and attacks the entity before pulling Jessica away. They rush to the exit and manage to escape, closing it behind them. As they try to seal the door with black paint, Chauncey suddenly opens the door and tries to grab Jessica, staring at her with its eyes and nearly drives her to the edge of madness. Alice then notices spilled gasoline and throws a lit match onto it, causing Chauncey to catch fire and become trapped behind the door. Jessica and the girls escape before the rest of the house burns to the ground. The next day, they attempt to check into a hotel. When they notice a teddy bear peeking out from behind a chair, they become scared and decide to look for another hotel. The teddy bear belongs to a boy who tells his mother that his imaginary friend is real.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our channel for more videos.